What are some of the learnings of your life? I mean, some of the lessons which life has taught you and which you think can help others. They can also learn from them. Sometimes you're facing a tricky situation in your life, but when you hear someone else relate something similar, it gives you a sense
Yeah.
of direction, and you know that, all is not lost. So keeping that.
Yeah, but most definitely, the learnings of my life are that we keep finding ourselves as humans. Uh, we keep finding places and times and situations to reprimand what we know, reprimand ourselves for not being good enough, for not believing in ourselves enough, for not coming to trust enough, for not being motivated enough. There's never a feeling of being satiated or complete. I mean, as mothers, this is the most fulfilling job of actually giving birth to a baby
Yeah,
that
yeah,
actually turns out looking exactly like somebody in the family or you. Just to know and embrace that sort of grace um, is a great learning. To literally break it down to every single breath, because without that breath, we won't be alive. And in that breath, how much of pain do we choose to absorb? How much of pettiness do we choose to engage with? How much of uh, judgment do we seem to very ordinarily and very effortlessly walk into?
mm,
And so the learnings are most definitely not to judge
yeah,
yourself being in a situation. You forget about everything else. You are going to be in conversations. You're going to let loose with a friend. You are going to have a great conversation with your husband and talk about everything. You're going to like sit with your kids and tell them a little bit of, a narrative about something that somebody told you, which isn't so nice. So all of that is going to happen. That's part of the journey.
mm-hmm.
But just the fact that you must embrace uh, the joy. And to me, I say this because I work every day with people who come to me, and they always say this to me, Sangeeta. They will say, "So, can we ask you a question? How do you walk yourselves out of this?" And I'm like, to me, this is my mission. This is something this is a purpose, and I'm walking my purpose. So when I'm done with that purpose, but I do have other, verticals where I also align with that sort of purpose. So I switch pretty
Hmm.
much like a to-do list from one to the other. Of course, you take the gentleness of spirit with you. Of course, you take a little bit of that pain with you. On a day when you work with 3 or 4 people who've really had it rough, it will end up having a quiet evening and don't want to talk about things and don't want to feel joyful and don't want to get dressed and have a drink. And so the learnings are compassion. The learnings are we're one. We're one thread of consciousness. If I choose, and of course, I'll see people the way they are. I will say this person's not the greatest or this person is not. I'm not some Sant Mahatma. I will feel the pain and I feel also learning emotions, learning that it's okay to have bad emotions. It's okay to feel greedy. It's okay to, feel emotional. We've been, as children all over the world, you put a lid on, aise mat karo,
Yeah.
ro nahi.
Yes, yes, yes.
Believe my children, both my girls, I would say this to them when they're very little, go to school, come back, not with your bags heavy with pain.
Hmm.
If you feel somebody's pained you, for teachers not being nice, you feel the teacher's not be nice, teachers are all nice, but if you feel that something she said is out of bounds, let her know. Tap her shoulder and say, ma'am. So my girls would actually say, ma'am, I don't like you because you said this to me. They became older and they were very bright and very academically also bright and very, sort of like holistic approach, happy girls. But when they stood up for leadership positions, I know the school, the board said, well, they're very emotional. And I
Hmm.
was like, I've taught them to be emotionally intelligent, to not fear in facing emotion. If you're feeling bad, embrace it, get it out, come home happy, hug your mom and don't say, oh, that person hit me, my teacher's not been nice. Embrace that. Let's talk about it. Don't keep piling this up. Don't let it, become a cauldron of emotion that one day just bursts.
Yeah.
And you do that. I mean, these are the learnings I could give my children, but we've done that as children. I don't think our parents had that sort of like three-dimensional emotional intelligence within them. They were not trained. Our worlds in our area trained us to be emotionally intelligent. You
The
have
world
to
is
be
so
traditional and you
different.
have to be modern You have to be outgoing, but you have to be chup. So these are, I think, grand learnings.
All right.